Another really good post-spawn technique that I do a lot all across the country is fishing bridges. You can pretty much bet any lake I've been on, as soon as the fish get done spawning, there will be some fish show up on bridges really quickly. And it's kind of like the same deal as with the boat docks. I feel like the reason why they show up there is because it offers a lot of bait. Bridges are normally funnel areas, choke point type places where there's shad, crawfish, bluegill, just a lot of options for a fish to feed back up after they get done spawning. So I feel like that's why they use bridges a lot. And most of the time, they'll be relating to the columns. Sometimes they'll actually relate to the shade of the bridge. If it's a bright sunny day, I've seen them relate to the shade of a bridge as well. But one of my favorite ways to catch them off of a bridge is on a Neko rig. Just something about the way it falls. They just like it. You know, this is an Exxon Lures Deception worm. This is one of the first times I've ever used this worm. It come out great, man. It's just a slim, straight, the perfect size, really good fish catching colors. This is green pumpkin blue. We got several different colors, but and I take a size 2 Mustad Tight-Necks Wacky Neko hook, 10-pound yellow vicious braid so I can see the line. I put a 10-pound vicious Pro Elite fluorocarbon leader on there, tie that on there with a uni-to-uni knot, about a 6 or 8 foot leader, and I just take and put that nail weight in the worm and just wacky rig it. And you'll see, we'll throw it up there by those columns. Those fish are suspended. Every bridge is different. This particular bridge, these columns they're gonna be in 60 to 70 feet of water. Obviously those fish are not that deep. You know, they're suspended around those columns, probably 10 to 15 foot, I'm gonna say. So you just cast it up there and get it as close to that column as you can. Something a lot of people don't realize when you say, yeah, go fish those bridge columns. Well, they'll just cast somewhere in the general vicinity of the bridge column. Guys, I'm telling you, if I could give you one tip about fishing a bridge column, it's get it as close as you possibly can, because what happens is those fish actually use that column as an ambush point. They run stuff up against that column and eat it. So if you can actually make that worm like slide down that column, you're more likely to get a bite. So definitely a little tip of the trade there for you. We'll see if we can make it work. Hopefully, we'll see. Just let it fall, let it fall. And while it's falling, I'm counting in my mind, because I figure that Neko will fall about a foot a second. So I'm gonna count to about 8 or 10, kind of twitch it, pull it up just a little, let it fall just a little. I don't wanna let it go past, I doubt you're gonna catch one past about 20 feet off this particular bridge. I mean, you might off of a bridge on your lake, but I just know from experience on this particular lake, normally they'll be 10 to 12 feet deep, somewhere right in there. I always keep an eye on that line as it's falling. If you see a little twitch or that line jump, you'll know one's got it. It can be a lot about timing on these bridges too, because I mean, these are main lake fish and they move around a lot. So you may show up, you know, now and not get a bite. You may come back an hour or 2 hours later and they may be loaded in there. So this is something to definitely try multiple times throughout a day, because these fish do move around a little bit for sure. There's one. It's a pretty nice one too. There's one on the graph too, look. He pulled a buddy out with him. There's another one showing up. Come here. There we go. Nice keeper. Another typical post spawner. You can see he's long, skinny, but he ate it. Look at that. I mean, you think he didn't want it? That Titan Eggs Wacky Neko, I'm telling you, it gets them. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. Just a good keeper, you know, a good solid 2 1/4, maybe 2 1/2. You can see he's still got marks on his tail from spawning. I mean, we're mid-May, so these fish are just getting done. That's how it's supposed to work. He read the script. They don't always do that, but that one did. When I'm fishing these columns, when I'm throwing a Neko rig, I like a 6'9" medium power. I use the MHX 81 MXF. I use that rod for so much of my spinning rod applications. You know, everybody's got the length that they like when it comes to spinning rods. I just feel like that 6'9" length gives me the perfect combination of accuracy, power. You know, it's not too heavy. I can fish with it all day. This thing weighs ounces. Just a good all-around rod. I use it for drop shots, shaky heads, lots of different things, finesse swim baits, but works really good. And you need a really accurate rod when you're throwing a Neko like this, especially on these bridges, but anywhere around docks. If I'm just throwing it down the bank, that's something that I feel like can give me an edge, is having a rod built specifically the way I want it when it comes to spinning applications, so I can put a bait where maybe my competitors can't, you know. So anytime you can get some sort of an edge like that, it's best to do it, especially if you're a tournament angler, for sure. Sometimes they'll pull the school off with them whenever you catch one, and sometimes they won't. Like late in the evening here, they'll be blowing up. They'll be blowing up bait. That one's fat. I'd say he's been here a while. He's fed back up. Typically when you find them, there will be a group of them. That one actually hit it on the way up, but awesome little pattern, man. I'm telling you, it works all over the country. I've caught them in Gunnersville, Toledo Bend, Tim's Ford, lots of places like this. So check it out. Next time you're kind of stumped during the post spawn, find you a bridge, get you a Neko rig, you'll catch some fish, I think. It's a good one too. Big fat one.